The helicopter doors close. The new man is strapped into a seat he's never sat in a suit he's never worn, flying toward a place he's never seen. Below him, the coastline shrinks, then it vanishes. And somewhere in that moment, it hits him. There is no turning back now. He signed up for this. The pay, the rotation, the stories. But nobody really told him what the next 2 days would do to him. Because on an oil rig, the first 48 hours are their own kind of test. It's the window where the platform decides whether you belong, and where you find out who you actually are, 100 miles from anyone who knows your name. So what really happens in those first 48 hours? Start with the thing nobody warns you about. Once you're out there, you cannot leave. There's no quitting at lunch and driving home. No bad day that ends in your own bed. The only way off that platform is a helicopter, on a schedule, in good weather. If you decide, an hour after landing, that you've made a terrible mistake, it doesn't matter. You are still there tomorrow, and the day after that. For most new workers, that's the first real shock, not the danger, the commitment. You have handed your freedom to a machine in the middle of the sea, and it will not give it back for weeks. But he never even reaches the helicopter without passing a gate first. Before a single new worker is allowed offshore, they have to complete survival training on land. They're taught to escape a life raft, to fight a fire in an enclosed space. And the part that breaks people. They're strapped into a fake helicopter cabin, dropped into a pool, and flipped upside down underwater, in the dark. They have to unbuckle, find the window, and swim out. Because if a real helicopter ever goes down over the sea, that is exactly what they'll have to do. Pass it and you fly, fail it and you never see the rig at all. There's also a medical and a drug test. The rig does not gamble on the person it can't send home. So the flight itself is already the reward for surviving the training. 2 hours, sometimes more. In a bright survival suit, packed shoulder to shoulder, the engine too loud to speak over. And then the platform appears, a gray shape rising out of open water, with a landing deck painted on top, barely bigger than a tennis court. The landing is the first test of nerve, and the moment the new worker's boots hit that steel, the clock everyone talks about finally starts. 28 days, and it just became very, very real. His first hour on deck is not work, it's rules. He's walked straight into an induction, and it's relentless. Where the lifeboats are, which alarm means what, where to run, and where to stand, if the worst happens. He's assigned a muster station, a single spot he must reach the instant an alarm sounds. Because from this moment, the platform always knows exactly how many people are on it, and exactly where each one should be. And here's the detail that lands hardest on the new man. He quickly realizes he knows nothing. Nothing he learned on land applies out here. Right now, he is the most ignorant, most dangerous person on the platform, and everyone knows it. Because the new worker starts at the very bottom. In the older crews, they even have a nickname for the newest man. They call him the Worm. It isn't cruel exactly, it's just a fact of the ladder. The Worm gets the worst jobs, the cleaning, the painting, the endless hauling and scrubbing that keeps a platform running. And he is watched, constantly. On most rigs, a new hand is paired with an experienced one, a mentor who is personally responsible for keeping him alive. Everywhere he goes, someone more senior is a step behind him, watching his hands, waiting for the mistake that new people make. Out here, being trusted is something you earn 1 hour at a time, and on day one, he has earned nothing. Then comes the first meal in the mess, and it's quieter and stranger than he expected. 200 men who all know each other, and one who knows no one. Conversations he doesn't understand, jokes from rotations he wasn't there for. The new worker eats mostly in silence, sizing up the room, being sized up in return. Because a rig crew is a tribe, and a tribe is careful about who it lets in. He'll be judged less on what he says, and far more on one single thing, whether he complains. Vowed here, the fastest way to be an outsider forever is to whine in the first 48 hours. So he keeps his mouth shut, and he eats, and he waits for the thing that's actually coming. The shift. His first full shift is 12 hours long, and nothing on land prepares the body for it. The work is heavy, repetitive, and it does not stop. Wind, cold, noise that never lets up, steel that's freezing in the morning and burning by afternoon, Muscles he didn't know he had start to fail by hour 6. And he can't just sit down. The platform runs around the clock, and his 12 hours belong to it. By the end, he is a different kind of tired than he's ever been. Not sleepy, emptied. Every part of him aching, from a day of work that the men around him treat as completely normal. And then, finally, he's allowed to sleep. He climbs into a narrow bunk, in a shared cabin, next to a stranger who's about to wake up for the night shift. The platform hums around him, 24 hours a day, a sound that never stops. He thinks it'll keep him awake. It doesn't. He is unconscious in minutes, the deepest sleep of his life. And it feels like seconds before it's over, because there's no easing in, no light first day. Hour 24 bleeds into hour 48, and he wakes, sore in places that didn't exist yesterday, to do the entire thing again. By now, the small, strange rules of this world are sinking in. His phone is useless in the places that matter, banned near anything that could spark. Everything, everywhere, is bolted down against the sea. And that quiet fact from the first hour has become a weight he carries all day. He cannot leave. If he's homesick here. If he's overwhelmed, there's no door. The only way through the next 26 days is straight through them. That is the real lesson of the first 48 hours. Not how to swing a wrench, how to sit inside a decision you can't undo. If you're the kind of person who wants to see what these jobs actually cost the people who do them, not the hype, the reality, subscribe. Because on this channel, every job answers the same question. Somebody does the work everyone else avoids. The question is always what it costs them. So here's what those 48 hours actually cost. They take the person you were on land, and they quietly begin to erase him. The man who flew out, soft, talkative, used to comfort, used to quitting when things got hard, does not survive the first 2 days. Something in him has to change, or he breaks. And the ones who make it describe the same thing. By hour 48, they've stopped being a visitor and started becoming someone new, harder, quieter, able to live inside discomfort without flinching. That's the trade nobody puts in the job listing. The rig doesn't just take your time, or your safety, or your distance from your family. In the first 48 hours, it starts taking the person you used to be, and it hands back someone who can do this. The pay is for the work, but the first 2 days, those are the price of admission, and every man out there paid it. So the next time you hear someone say they work on an oil rig, don't picture the money, or the danger, or the endless gray water. Picture the new hand on the heli deck, 48 hours in, watching the helicopter he arrived on lift off without him. He doesn't feel excitement anymore. He doesn't feel fear. He feels the strange, quiet calm of someone who has just understood the deal. Somebody does the work the rest of us won't. And out here, before you ever earn a single dollar, you first have to survive the 2 days that turn you into the kind of person who can.